A troubling alliance, Trump and Putin. The relationship between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin has been a source of intense scrutiny and speculation since Trump's entry into the political arena. Their interactions, often characterized by an unusual degree of warmth and deference from Trump towards the Russian leader, have fueled suspicions about the true nature of their bond. This essay will delve into the possibility that Trump's allegiance lies not with the United States but with the Kremlin, and how his actions seemingly driven by this allegiance are pushing the U.S. towards collapse. Trump's admiration for Putin, a former KGB agent and current authoritarian leader, has been no secret. He has repeatedly praised Putin's strength and intelligence, even going so far as to side with him over his own intelligence agencies on the issue of Russian interference in the 2020 U.S. election. This unwavering support for Putin, even in the face of evidence contradicting his claims, raises serious questions about Trump's motivations and loyalties. The lack of transparency surrounding Trump's financial dealings with Russia only adds fuel to the fire. Despite numerous calls for him to release his tax returns, Trump has steadfastly refused, fueling speculation about potential financial entanglements that could be used as leverage by the Kremlin. The web of connections between Trump's inner circle and Russian oligarchs further deepens the suspicion surrounding his relationship with Russia. The Trump-Putin relationship is not merely a matter of personal affinity or questionable financial dealings. It represents a fundamental shift in U.S. foreign policy, one that aligns more closely with the interests of the Kremlin than with those of the United States. This shift has profound implications for the future of the U.S., both domestically and on the world stage. The Kremlin agent theory, shadows of doubt. The idea that a U.S. president could be compromised by a foreign power, let alone actively working against his own country's interests, may seem like the stuff of spy thrillers. However, the possibility that Donald Trump is a Russian asset, wittingly or unwittingly, is a theory that has gained significant traction among intelligence experts and political commentators alike. Former intelligence officials, including those who served under Republican administrations, have expressed alarm at Trump's behavior and his apparent susceptibility to Russian influence. They point to his consistent efforts to undermine U.S. intelligence agencies, his willingness to accept Putin's word over that of his own advisors, and his inexplicable reluctance to take any action that could be perceived as adversarial towards Russia, as evidence of a deeply troubling relationship. The theory of Trump as a Kremlin agent hinges on the concept of compromat, compromising information that can be used for blackmail or extortion. Given Trump's history of dubious business dealings and personal scandals, it is not inconceivable that Russian intelligence agencies possess material that could be used to manipulate him. The Steele dossier, while unverified, provided a glimpse into the potential compromat that Russia may hold over Trump, ranging from financial irregularities to salacious personal allegations. While concrete proof of Trump's direct involvement with Russian intelligence remains elusive, the circumstantial evidence is compelling. His actions, his words, and the behavior of those within his orbit all point to a level of Russian influence that is unprecedented in U.S. history. The possibility that the leader of the free world could be beholden to a hostile foreign power is a chilling thought, one that should give every American pause. Aligning with the Bear Trump's pro-Kremlin actions. Examining Trump's actions during his presidency reveals a consistent pattern of aligning with Russian interests, often at the expense of U.S. allies and national security. From foreign policy decisions to public statements, Trump has repeatedly demonstrated a willingness to appease Putin and advance the Kremlin's agenda. One of the most glaring examples is Trump's withdrawal from the Intermediate-Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, a landmark agreement that had banned an entire class of nuclear missiles for over 3 decades. This move, widely seen as a gift to Russia, allowed Putin to expand his country's nuclear arsenal without constraint, destabilizing the region and escalating global tensions. Trump's attempts to undermine NATO, the cornerstone of Western security, have also raised serious concerns. He has repeatedly questioned the value of the alliance, threatened to withdraw the U.S. and withheld funding, all while praising Putin and downplaying the threat posed by Russia. This weakening of the transatlantic alliance, a key objective of Russian foreign policy, has emboldened Putin and created a more dangerous security environment in Europe. Furthermore, Trump's cozy relationship with Putin has emboldened the Russian leader to act with increasing aggression on the world stage. From interfering in elections to propping up dictators, Putin has faced minimal pushback from the Trump administration, emboldening him to further expand Russian influence and challenge the international order. The evidence suggests that Trump's actions are not simply the result of incompetence or misguided foreign policy. They represent a deliberate and calculated effort to advance Russian interests, even if it means undermining the United States and its allies in the process. This pattern of behavior raises serious questions about where his true loyalties lie and the potential consequences for the future of the U.S. The Ukrainian fault line, a relationship fractured. The deterioration of U.S.-Ukraine relations under the Trump administration is perhaps the most alarming example of his pro-Kremlin leanings. Ukraine, a fledgling democracy grappling with Russian aggression, has traditionally relied on the U.S. for support and security assistance. However, under Trump, this vital relationship has been severely strained, pushing Ukraine closer to the brink and emboldening Russia's expansionist ambitions. Trump's first impeachment stemmed from his attempt to pressure Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to investigate his political rival Joe Biden in exchange for military aid. This blatant attempt to leverage U.S. foreign policy for personal gain, at the expense of a vulnerable ally facing Russian aggression, sent shockwaves through the international community and signaled a dangerous shift in U.S. priorities. Beyond the impeachment scandal, Trump's actions have consistently undermined Ukraine's security and emboldened Russia. He has downplayed Russia's annexation of Crimea, resisted providing lethal aid to Ukraine, and even echoed Kremlin talking points by questioning Ukraine's right to exist as an independent nation. The consequences of Trump's actions have been devastating for Ukraine. With the U.S., its most powerful ally, seemingly abandoning its commitments, Ukraine faces an increasingly precarious future. Russia, emboldened by Trump's tacit support, has stepped up its military activities in the region, raising fears of a full-scale invasion. The U.S.-Ukraine relationship, once a cornerstone of stability in Eastern Europe, lies in tatters, a casualty of Trump's pro-Kremlin agenda. This strategic blunder has left Ukraine vulnerable, strengthened Russia's hand, and seriously damaged the credibility of the U.S. as a reliable ally. As the world watched closely, reactions to Trump's Russia policy were swift and varied. European allies expressed concern over the potential shift in the geopolitical landscape. Many leaders emphasized the importance of maintaining a united front against Russian aggression. Meanwhile, Russia viewed the policy as a potential opportunity to reset relations with the United States. Critics argued that the approach could undermine long-standing alliances and embolden authoritarian regimes. The international community remained divided, with some seeing a chance for diplomacy, while others feared destabilization. In the end, the true impact of Trump's Russia policy would only become clear with time. The U.S. economy faced significant challenges. With rising unemployment and inflation, many Americans struggled to make ends meet. Businesses shuttered, and the stock market experienced unprecedented volatility. It was a time of great uncertainty for everyone. Internal strife and political instability further exacerbated the situation. Protests erupted across the nation, fueled by social and economic disparities. Political divisions deepened, making it difficult for any meaningful progress to be achieved. The country seemed more divided than ever before. Globally, the situation was equally tense. International relations were strained, with nations grappling to find common ground. Trade wars, diplomatic conflicts, and the looming threat of global crises created a world on edge. Cooperation seemed like a distant dream. As we reflect on this period, it leaves us with a legacy of uncertainty. The events of these times have shaped our present and will undoubtedly influence our future. The question remains, how will we navigate the challenges ahead? Only time will tell.